Hello, my name is Kiriath, and today we're going to talk about a couple of things. We're going to talk about Games Workshop reopening some of their warehouses. We're going to talk about a new Catachan model, another new Catachan model. There have been more new Catachan models in the last couple of months than there have been in a lot of years, which is interesting and something we'll talk about a little bit further later on. And the interesting thing about this particular new Catachan model, this new kernel, is the nature of it. It is an exclusive miniature. It is a only available for a short time model, but with a twist, because it's not Games Workshop exclusive. Instead, it's only available from independent retailers. Not only that, but they are not charging the independent retailers for them. They are just sending them the model for free, which means the retailer gets to keep 100% of whatever they make from those models. Now, from what I've seen and from what I've heard, a couple of people have been in touch with me to say that by the look of it, it's only going to be 4 per shop. That does make it very limited. Now, of course, that is not something that I can absolutely tell you is gospel truth. That is what I've heard, that's what I've been told. I have had a couple of bits of information from people that suggest that that is the number. That could be incorrect, but if that is the case, I would probably suggest that if you have your heart set on this, you are going to have to go to quite some lengths to make sure that you grab it, because it's going to be very, very limited. But I think overall that's still a nice gesture to do. Now let's just take a quick look at some of the information that they put out, and we'll take a look at the model itself, and then have a little chat about Catachans as a whole, because it's getting interesting, isn't it? So what they've said is that the warehouses will be open from today, or at least they'll be able to reopen some of the warehouses from today. So depending on where you are in the world, if you've got an order pending, then it should be shipped out to your home address, hopefully over the next few days. And if you have an order pending to be shipped to a Games Workshop or Warhammer store, they will be in touch soon to sort out the next steps for your order. I would assume that what they've done here is they have done like a reduced staff. I'm assuming that they will be making sure that they stick with social distancing, make sure that employees are 2 meters or more apart. And I would guess, I mean, they have said that it may take longer than normal to process, pack and ship orders. I would suggest going into buying stuff again now that you should expect that sort of delay. That it shouldn't be, don't go into it thinking to yourself, okay, it's back up and running. If I buy something, it'll be shipped out straight away, same as normal. I don't think that's going to be the case. They are obviously being careful with this, so I would go into this expecting not to get stuff straight away or as quickly as you used to. They've also pointed out that ship-to-store delivery option won't be available, since a good number of the retail stores are still closed. They're going by like governmental guidelines from country to country, so some stores are reopening, some stores aren't. What they've done to offset it, as they say, is reducing the free shipping threshold by 50% in all territories where this option was previously available. I do like that as a compromise. I mean, obviously you're still going to have to pay for shipping, but you'll be paying that little bit less, as you won't be able to pick up from the store, so that's nice. They have pointed out that with the factory still locked down, they are likely to see a few more items than usual go out of stock, and it will take longer than normal to resupply them. That's just to be expected. I mean, if they're not actually making any new stock, they're just shipping out stock they currently have, then they're going to run out of stuff. They are going to run out. There's no question of it. It'll just be a case of seeing what disappears quickest. But I would kind of hope that with the warehouses opening again, or at least some of them opening again, they will hopefully find a workflow that works and means people are still safe distance apart and observing all of those guidelines. I would expect probably the factory to be opening again. I'm not going to say soon. I would hope sometime next month, maybe, probably towards the end of the month if I had to do a random guess. I think this is probably them kind of testing the waters, finding out how things are going to work, how things will function with the following the guidelines that are in place and going from there. Now, the nice thing about the model that they've talked about, the Catachan kernel, who looks amazing, is that as I say, this is something I don't know that they've done before. This is only available through independent stockists. So, yeah, I mean, as they say here, they'll be sending independent stockists a very special edition Catachan kernel free of charge. That's a difficult sentence for some reason. So they can keep every penny they make. Like other limited edition or made-to-order miniatures, this Catachan won't be available anywhere else. So keep in touch with your local independent store. They'll be counting on your loyalty when they reopen. That, I mean, before we take a proper look at the guy, I will just say very quickly, that is a nice thing to do. And now, my assumption, my personal assumption, is that this guy was probably meant for something else. I would guess that this guy was either supposed to be an event exclusive miniature, or perhaps a store opening miniature, something of that kind. That's what I'd guess. I don't imagine that it was purpose done for just independent stockists to sell. But they've changed that up, and they've actually meant so that they don't even buy the model to begin with. They just get it sent for free and then they sell it. I think that's a nice thing to do, and I think that's a nice gesture towards the independent stockists. Now, I have seen a number floating around that it's going to be 4 per stockist, which makes this model massively rare. Like, the vast majority of us are not going to be able to get our hands on this. If it is 4 per store, that is a very, very low number. It's still a nice gesture, and I would hope that stores just abide by their usual pricing rules and just charge what they would normally for an HQ or an independent character or whatever. But I feel like if you really want this guy, you're going to have to be super quick about it, because if it is only 4 per store, then they're going to run out instantly. Without question, they're going to run out straight away. It's kind of, I don't know. On the one hand, it is a really nice gesture, and I'm really glad they've done it. I'm really happy they've done it. It is showing support, and it is doing something they didn't have to do for the independent stockists. On the other hand, if it is 4, that's a super low number to send out. But then again, it could be that this is like an initial wave thing, and we do see this model come back in the form of a store opening or a event exclusive. It's difficult to tell. I mean, everything is so weird and up in the air that it could be any number of things. That number is one that I've seen floating around and have had sent to me by a couple of people. But as always with these things, that could be accurate. It could be not accurate. We don't know. Either way, I'd imagine that this thing is going to be in pretty high demand, because, well, look at the lad. That is a quality model. That looks dead good. I really, really, really like this. I mean, for a start, it's a new Catachan model, so what is there to not like? Let's be honest. But it's like, the guy is half Dylan from Predator, half what's his name from Halo. What more do you want? What more do you want? Nailing the kind of 80s action film vibe. Also, I'm afraid for you Orc players, I was convinced that the hand holding the binoculars was Orcish in nature, and of course it's not. It's not. That's a rumour engine solved. Catachan, not Orc. Although it is Catachan, so that's quite nice. The detail of the totally not Predator blood on that leaf, I really like that. Just all round a solid model. And for once, yes, we do have a foot on a box, but it's not a foot on a rock. He's not leaping, he's not jumping, he's not doing some weird floaty thing. He is just pointing and telling someone to go and kill that over there right now. And I like that. I like that a lot. Now, the thing that's interesting me about this is we've had a couple of Catachan models recently, both of them painted the same way, with, of course, I was going to say very similar themes, but of course they would be because they're both Catachan. But the sudden focus on Catachan special models or limited edition models is an interesting one to take. It's an interesting focus to have. The range as a whole really needs an update, and it's just that weird switch of focus to, oh, and here's some Imperial Guard. Here's some Imperial Guard Catachan models. It's just an interesting flip to a range that does desperately need updating. I mean, Imperial Guard as a whole could do with being updated, but it's the specific focus on these guys more than anything else. So whilst it's not really about, it's nothing that I've been told about or informed of, personally, I just feel like this is starting to point increasingly towards a rework of this range. A much needed rework of this range at that. Anyway, that is what we have currently. Obviously, a model that is going to be free to independent stockists is great. I really like they've done that. The fact that we're going to be able to actually buy stuff again is nice, because I don't know about you, but some of my hobby supplies are starting to dry up at this point, and actually having the capability to buy more is quite good. Let me know what you think of all of that in the comments down below. In the meantime, feel free to click all the things, Patreon, video subscribe, all that stuff. And of course, there's an affiliate link for Element Games in the description, which is a nice way to support the channel if you would like to do so. I leave it in your capable hands. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.